All right, let's do it.
This is Kickin' and Streamin' Podcast, a binge watcher's guide to streaming movies, TV series, and stuff. Here are your hosts, Graham and Jocelyn.
And hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Kicking and Streaming Podcast. My name is Graham, and with me today, of course, is the absolutely fantastic Jojo. Hello, Jojo. I say to you, Jojo.
Hello, Graham. How you doing?
Jojo, we are doing all right. Today is a good day to be alive. I don't know if there are bad days to be alive, but I know people say it's a good day to be alive. Whatever that means. How you doing, Jojo? For real.
I'm doing all right. Yeah,
You're doing
doing
all
all
right.
right. Yeah,
I likes that.
yeah.
I likes that. So, Jojo, today, as we promised, we are going to discuss the 80th Golden Globes Award, which were celebrated last night. As Gerard Carmichael put it, the hotel in the hotel that killed Winnie Houston. you know, of course. So the show was hosted by comedian and actor Gerard Carmichael. And Gerard has a very different brand of humor, and he has a very unique approach to stand-up comedy, which is he normally does not stand up. Uh, well, that's not new. I mean, this is something that I think Cosby did too. Cosby sat down as opposed to doing stand-up. But Gerard is one of those performers that prefers the concert, not the stadia or things like that, but rather the small clubs, because that's his style. He sits there and he has a conversation. Part of his style is that he doesn't make eye contact. If you notice, he sits and then looks to the side. um, I don't know how that works, but it works. And he had a nice. What did you think of his opening, Jojo?
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed his his very opening line. I think my favorite part though was how uncomfortable the audience was
Yes.
because everybody, maybe not quite everybody, but 99% of that audience did not know what to do with themselves, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic because like with Ricky Gervais or whatever, they would get offended or oh, but
Yeah,
with
yeah.
him, they were just like
What do we do? Do we laugh? Do we say something? Yeah, that was awesome.
yeah, it was great. I loved how uncomfortable all the rich people were. So it made me happy.
It's crazy because he does that and then moves on. Like
Hmm.
because sometimes some comedians will say something offensive or kind of controversial and wait for a reaction.
Yeah,
He acts like he doesn't give. I just said what I said, so let's move on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, or they'll go back and like beat it to death or be like, "Oh, come on. You guys know that I was just kidding," or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
just like, "Yeah, I said what I said and
And
here's my
then
next thing I'm going to say."
here's the next line. So it was good. One thing I have to say is that even though it was on a Tuesday night, the Golden Globes kind of felt like the old Golden Globes. There was a bit of um, you know, gala type of feeling to it. It felt, the very formal event that it normally is. Um, I've To be honest, I've always kind of felt like the Golden Globes are a bit classier even than the Oscars. And there was that feeling last night. And frankly, I don't know what kind of punishment it means to not have it on a Sunday night, you know. But I think they put on a very good show, and I like the way things went. What do you say?
Yeah, I think it was as you said, a kind of a return to glamour, which is always fun. Always liked the format of the Golden Globes and that everybody's just kind of sitting around tables and they have their drinks and dinner sometimes and that kind of thing. I like that, even though that seems more informal to me, that adds like a touch of old Hollywood to it, because that's the way they used to do the Oscars,
Yeah.
back when it was like a big dinner, and I liked that format idea. So, um, yeah, I think it was interesting and fun, and it was definitely not as bad as some people are making it out to be, because there's some people who are kind of losing their minds over it.
Yeah.
And it definitely wasn't maybe as good as we were hoping it would be, but at the same time, I think there was some really great wins in some of the categories, and there was some fantastic speeches too, which
Yes.
I think in an award show where maybe it's trying to come back from a reputation, some of the well, it seemed like everybody was drunk, which is just hilarious. Um, and I think that a lot of people were like, you know what, I'm going to say what I want to say,
Yeah.
and I think we got some good speeches out of that.
Listen, Michelle Yeoh got it, man. She was like, "Shut up."
And her whole "I will beat you up, and that is a promise." Like, I can
The thing
fulfill
is
on
that
that.
I believe it though.
Mhm.
You know, if Michelle Yeoh just tells me to shut up, otherwise she'll beat the fuck out of me. Yes, ma'am. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna sit down here and let you finish saying your thing, because
I
she's
couldn't believe
Michelle Yeoh.
somebody kept playing music though. I was like, "Are you insane? She's gonna come down there and beat you with that thing." Which, according to Jennifer Coolidge, is quite heavy. So,
Yeah. Oh, Jennifer Coolidge was so funny. Eh, like this woman can improvise on a dime, and she's so good. She always sounds like she don't know what she's trying to say, but she knows. That's just her style. It's just like, oh my god, this lady is funny, and she has no fucking shame of anything, man. She's just herself. She is just herself. Her humor is self-deprecating, but so great, man. There's a lot to talk about here, Jojo. But let's go on and start seeing what the winners and losers, what our predictions were. We know we're gonna skip the movie part of it, although um, the Banshee of Inisherin had quite the night last night. So I suppose we're gonna have to talk about that because the duo of Brendan Gleeson and um, Colin Farrell is just it's just an amazing thing, and I can watch these two together always forever. I mean, if it's a movie that Colin Farrell is, I'm like, oh, whatever. But if it's just the two of them, yeah, I'll go for it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. In Bruges is a fantastic movie. Um, Absolutely fantastic. And so yeah, this one is should be good too. But yeah, we didn't really talk about the movies because very few of them were streaming. So we talked about TV shows.
very well. Then. So let's get started then with um, best performance by an actor in a supporting role in a musical, comedy, or drama series. Go ahead, Judge.
Let's see. So, apologies. I phone, not phone, computer. Just like okay, best no that best performance by. How about you read it, Graham, and I'll I'll find it. My
Okay,
computer
no,
just took everything to the beginning.
no worries. So we have best performance by an actor in a supporting role in a musical, comedy, or drama series. The nominees were John Lithgow, The Old Man, Jonathan Price, The Crown, John Turturro, Severance, Henry Winkler, Barry, Tyler James Williams, Abbott Elementary, and Tyler James Williams won it for Abbott Elementary. Um, he he seemed to be taken aback by the win, if you notice. I,
Yes.
I think he knew that he was nominated. He was um he he knew that he could win because being there means that you could win. but also he wasn't expecting to win, and you could tell by his speech and by um, his entire demeanor that it came as a surprise. Do you think that that was the case to you?
It seemed like it to me, yeah. Yeah, he seemed surprised, happily surprised, of course. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think he was surprised. And there was a, a lot of big names,
yeah, exactly.
including himself, of course. Um, and not who we picked at all. So
Yeah, who did we pick for this one?
we both went with John Turturro.
Okay. I think I talked about Jonathan Price
You
and
did,
Henry Winkler and
yeah. The
John
movie,
Lithgow, and all of them. But I also didn't. You have to remember, this kid not too long ago was playing young Chris Rock, and everybody,
everybody
everybody
hates
hates
Chris.
Chris.
Chris, yes.
And it's weird to see him all grown up and stuff now. You know what I mean? But the kid has always been good, and his nomination and his win was well deserved.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna go now with best performance by an actress in a supporting role in a musical, comedy, or drama series.
So we had nominated Lee Ralph for Abbott Elementary, Janelle James for Abbott Elementary, Handa Einbinder for Hacks, Elizabeth Debicki, The Crown, and Julia Gardner for Ozark. The winner was Julia Gardner, and that was actually both of our picks as well.
Yes, I think your logic for that one back, a week ago was the fact that it was the best way to say goodbye to a character that she actually played very well. And like I said fuck Netflix because of the way they ended the story arc for Ruth. Uh, but yeah, I was very happy that she won.
Yeah,
Very, very happy.
yeah, because it's that character, she created that character basically. That character would not exist as the way we think of her without Julia Garner. So she definitely deserved it. And I don't. She's been nominated, I think, once before, but didn't win. So I think it was a good way to say goodbye to the character and maybe give a little bit of justice for Ruth.
Yes, it's crazy because the truth is, Ruth was one of those characters that I never imagined somebody else playing. I
Hmm.
couldn't, I just couldn't imagine anyone else but her, Julia Garner, playing Ruth. I can't. I never thought of it that way. I can always recast in my head a character, and no, it didn't happen with Ruth. So that was fantastic. Um, we are going to move on to best performance by an actor in a supporting role in a limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television. That's one of the long ones. So nominees were F. Murray Abraham, The White Lotus, Domhnall Gleeson, The Patient, Richard Jenkins, Dahmer, Monster, The Jeffrey Dahmer Story, Seth Rogen, Pam and Tommy, and Paul Walter Hauser, Blackbird. And the winner was Paul Walter Hauser for Blackbird. What did you think of that one? What did we think of the would win?
We actually didn't end up picking one because I think when we talked about it, we just weren't quite sure about anybody.
Yeah.
We hadn't seen enough to make an informed decision. But yeah, we didn't pick one. So I am not familiar, I don't believe, with well, I haven't seen Blackbird, so I don't know, but
Yeah, I think one of the things that I don't that didn't call my attention about Blackbird is that I felt like it was quite a dark show, and I wasn't in the mood. I was never in the mood for a dark show like that.
Hmm.
And in the end, I thought, yeah, I'm probably gonna give it a go, but I never did, to be honest. And um, I think a lot of people turn on to Blackbird after the death of Ray Liotta, also, and so the show became a bit more discovered in that respect. But yeah, I had no enough information. As I said, I thought F. Murray Abraham was a good contender too.
Hmm.
And given the celebrity of the Dahmer, the monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, I thought also, if you know, it could be a good night for them in that category. But that was it. Um,
Yeah, to me, it was it was kind of an equal amount of talent there. Like there was for me, there was nobody that was like, yes, they should definitely win, or no, they should definitely not win. To me, it was just like, I don't know.
is it fair to say though that the White Lotus seem to have had the won the night
Yeah,
in
I
it?
think it basically did. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, in that regard, we move on to best performance by an actress in a supporting role in a limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television.
And we had Aubrey Plaza for The White Lotus, Niecy Nash for Dahmer Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, Daisy Edgar Jones, Under the Banner of Heaven, Claire Danes, Fleischman is in Trouble, and Jennifer Coolidge for The White Lotus. And the winner was Jennifer Coolidge for The White Lotus with a fantastic acceptance speech.
Acceptance speech was absolutely great. I like her the whole thing with the names. Like I mess up names, and Kali Coco was across. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. Yeah. I don't have a lot of tolerance for people that mess up names. But if you're gonna make it funny, then absolutely. And that was funny. Um, so who did we think was gonna win this one?
So I was rooting for Daisy Edgar Jones, and you were rooting for Niecy Nash.
Yeah, Nisi Nash had the nomination, and she was quite talked about over the night, including um, a comment by Gerard Carmichael. Gerard, I don't know what he wanted to say by that, but I think I get what he's saying. you know, but yeah, she did not win. I don't think she won any of the nominations, right?
I don't believe so. No.
All right, so let's just because of the acceptance speech, I am going to go over this best performance by an actor in a supporting role in any motion picture. And the nominees were Eddie Redmayne, The Good Nurse, Brad Pitt, Babylon, Barry Keoghan, The Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Gleeson, The Banshees of Inisherin, and Ke Huy Kwan, Everything Everywhere at Once. And he won it. And I it was a refreshing acceptance speech, but more than anything, it was the emotion. It was honest and pure, raw emotion. And I get what he was saying. Like when you've been a child star, or the best thing you ever did was as a kid, you grow up thinking, how am I ever going to top that? And everyone thinks so of you. you know and so we see that all the time. I mean, the majority of child stars either end up being a complete fuck up, or wash out washed out. And it's amazing that this happened to him, and I was happy to see him so happy, right?
Yeah. I excuse me. This movie is, I am in love with this movie. I think it's one of the best movies in decades. Everything Everywhere All at Once, and he is a huge reason why this movie is so good. If they had cast anyone else, it would not be as good a movie. He is fantastic in it. It is one of the best performances I've ever seen. It would have been a tragedy for anybody else to have won in this category, in my opinion, because I've never seen acting like this. So if anybody hasn't seen the movie, for heaven's sakes, please watch it. And he deserved it, and he deserves absolutely everything that he wins and all of the good things that come to him from this movie, because he is fantastic in it, and by all accounts and by all appearances, just a fantastic person too. And good things should happen to good people. And
Yeah,
I'm just so glad for him.
yeah, I'm with you with that. I'm with you. I mean, like I said, you know, I've got a Gen Zer here in my house, 22-year-old son who, you know, just cares very little about pretty much anything, you know. And when he saw that, Ke Huy Quan won, he was like, this movie is so good, and he was so good in it, And he stopped to say that he was going up. He came back to say this movie is good. This is a great movie, and he was great in it. I'm like, okay, no, my son is excited about this, so it's got to be good. I've not seen the movie. I remember how passionately you talked about this movie last year, and it's my bucket list now. I've got to
it's
watch it.
it's phenomenal. Michelle Yeoh is phenomenal. Jamie Lee Curtis is phenomenal. But he is so good. And the young girl that plays the daughter in it, whose name escapes me, she is fantastic too. It's just the whole cast is fantastic. They truly are. Everybody in it is wonderful. But he elevates it to a level that is just
He done killed it.
beautiful. He killed it.
He killed it. Very well. So we're going to move on to best performance by an actress in a supporting role in a motion picture. Uh, Go ahead, Georgie.
My mic just fell off the stand.
Dude, what is wrong with you today?
Oh my god. That was fantastic. It was
Hey,
wow.
hey,
Okay.
that's awesome.
Okay. Best performance by an actress in a supporting role in any motion picture. Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay. So we had Carrie Condon, The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie
Is
Lee
that Carey
Curtis.
Mulligan?
Say again.
Carey Mulligan.
Carrie Mulligan.
Carey Mulligan, right?
Uh,
Is that right? Or Carrie Condon?
oh, sorry. I started in the wrong order.
No, 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 no.
um,
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Sorry.
no, you're fine. Carrie Mulligan for She Said, Dolly D. Leon for Triangle of Sadness, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Carrie Condon for The Banshees of Inisherin, Angela Bassett for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and the winner was Angela Bassett.
Look, man. Um, there is an exuberance, a classiness about Angela Bassett since ever.
Yeah.
But as she's aging, it just becomes more and more sophisticated. It's just an amazing thing. As a person and as an actress, I look, I'm over the moon for her that she won this, because we went to see Wakanda Forever, and it was hard to imagine Black Panther, an iteration of Black Panther after all that happened to the loss of Chadman Boswick. Uh, Chadwick Boseman, sorry. Um, but this was a complete movie in itself, and it was thanks mostly to the acting of Angela Bassett. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. She is phenomenal always. She's she's always good. She has a regalness about her. And it was a beautiful, beautiful acceptance speech with a lot of uh,
Right, that's true.
um, credit where credit is due, and she. It was beautiful that she won. I'm glad she won, and I'm glad. Yeah, it was just lovely.
Yes, yes, that was it. Let's then move on with best performance by an actor in a television series, musical or comedy. Nominees were Martin Short, Only Murders in the Building; Steve Martin, Only Murders in the Building; Bill Hader, Barry; Donald Glover, Atlanta; and Jeremy Allen White, The Bear. And boy, that prediction came true, and I could not be happier. Wow, man, wow. I jumped like, no! And by the way, I watched the recorded Golden Globe because I got off work at almost at 10, and I got home a little before 11, but I had set it up to record. So, and I stayed off Twitter. I stayed off Twitter and Instagram until I could get home and watch it. So yeah, I don't know. Like, no offense to any of those actors nominated, but my God, Jeremy Allen White deserved this more than all of them. Sorry,
Yeah, yeah, he did. And if he, I think we talked about it last week that if he didn't win, we were going to be mad
man.
because it would have been stolen. Sorry, everybody else. You did a lovely job, I'm sure, but he was just unbelievably good in this. So yeah, so he won,
Yeah,
so we didn't have to be mad.
yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah. Wow, yes, yes. And again, if you have not seen The Bear, go watch it, man.
Yeah,
It is it's one of those few TV series that will freaking change your life.
it's true.
It's that good. It
It's
is
true.
that good.
It's very
So,
true.
if you ever thought about, I don't know, becoming an actor or going into some kind of like, if you're going through some stuff, also, if you hate your job, if there, like, there's so much that this show can get you through. You just have to go ahead and watch it. Right? So, Jojo, who do we have next?
Let's see. So it looks like we have best performance by an actress in a television series, musical or comedy. There was Jean Smart for Hacks, Jenna Ortega for Wednesday, Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building, Kaylee Cuoco for the flight attendant, and Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary. And the winner was Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary.
Yeah, uh, Quinta Brunson won. I think she won the Emmys. She won an Emmy last year too, didn't she?
I believe so. Yes, she did.
So the Golden Globe was a fantastic addition to that.
Hmm.
I don't know if she won. I don't remember if she won the Golden Globe. Did she win the Golden Globe last year?
I don't remember. I
Yeah,
don't remember
but
myself.
anyway, there's no there's no griping about this.
Mm-mm.
Quinta Brunson is the it girl in this moment, both as a writer, as a comedy writer, and as an actress. And I can't think of anybody else who deserves this. Um, I know that we talked about Selena Gomez also being deserving of this because, yes, Selena Gomez is fantastic in Only Murders in the Building, and the fact that she did not get a nomination when both of counterparts got nominated, it was a terrible thing. So the fact that she got nominated this time, I was happy about that.
Hmm.
And if she had won it, I would have been okay with it. But I couldn't see anyone else winning it in this category but Quinta Brunson. And by the way, I still haven't watched Abbott Elementary. So, did we have prediction on this one?
It looks like that I was leaning towards Selena Gomez, and you kind of had Selena Gomez, Jenna Ortega, and Quinta Brunson.
So I remember doing a trifecta here. So
Yeah.
that's what happened, and it happened. So good, right? So um, we will talk about these two movies just briefly because again we don't, yeah, it's not like just because of the speeches. The best performance by an actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Royal Fines, The Menu, Adam Driver, White Noise, Daniel Craig, Glass Onion, and Knives Out Mystery, Diego Calva, Babylon, and Colin Farrell. The bunches of Inisherin and Colin Farrell won it. Uh, Colin Farrell gave a speech, and it seems like he said everything he needed to say in the perfect timing. It was amazing because he was like blurting out like 10,000 words per second, and you could understand him well. And I don't think the music played him out, did it?
No, I don't think so. He'd practiced that one.
Yes, yes. And Jenny the donkey was mentioned quite a bit there. So just because I'm gonna go see this movie just because of Jenny the donkey, because you know Jenny the donkey got an early retirement and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, why couldn't they just you know nominate Jenny the donkey? I mean,
Yeah.
didn't they nominate? Wasn't uh Bugs Bunny nominated once?
I if he wasn't, he probably should have been. I mean, he's Bugs Bunny is the shit, man.
Yo, Bugs, like seriously, man, there are no cartoons that I will favor more than Bugs Bunny wherever, whenever. Bugs is my dude, has been my dude forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, so we kind of going in the wrong direction. Let's move on.
Let's see. So, best performance by an actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy: Emma Thompson, Good Luck to You, Leo Grande; Anya Taylor Joy, The Menu; Margot Robbie, Babylon; Leslie Manville, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris; and Michelle Yeoh, Everything Everywhere All at Once. And of course, Michelle Yeoh took it home for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And again, it would have been a tragedy if anybody else had won. And lady's a badass. So
Yeah, and that's it. The ladies are badass, and that's it. Um, Good luck to you, Leah Grant. The nomination itself was for me a bit of a surprise because
hmm
uh, you know the movie was fantastic. We had an entire podcast episode about it,
yes.
and I think I'm not discounting the work of Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson is too good for anybody to have something to say about her. That is not Emma Thompson is great, but I I, I was surprised that there was a nomination of her for that because I think the little dude, her counterpart in that was really really good.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And it I think that he elevated her performance
Yeah,
and she elevated his performance as well. And I think they should have both been nominated. It's kind of a case of like Only Murders in the Building when they only
yes,
nominated the male counterparts. The, the movie was as good as it was, and her performance was as good as it was because of him. So,
absolutely, absolutely. All right then. So let's move on. We're going to skip the that other part. Uh, okay. Let's go to best performance by an actress in a limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television. That's what we care about, isn't it?
yeah. Yep, that's what we talked about.
Yes. So, Julia Roberts, Gaslit, Lily James, Pam and Tommy, Julia Garner, Inventing Anna, Jessica Chastain, George and Tammy, and Amanda Seyfried, The Dropout, and Amanda Seyfried won it. What did we have to say about this one, Jojo?
So uh, you were really thinking Jessica Chastain, and I was hoping for Lily James. And I don't think either one of us saw or even counted Amanda Seyfried as even a big contender. The nomination is great and everything, but I don't think that we had really chosen her as. I don't think we really talked about her as winning.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I thought about for Amanda Seyfried's, nomination is the fact that, she was playing that lady, Elizabeth, whatever her name is. And the case in itself is very salacious and very sensational. So, and we know that Hollywood kind of likes that,
Yeah, that's
So
true.
when you're playing a live, real person, Hollywood tends to give you your props in that respect. But I don't know. I didn't watch the movie. I didn't feel like watching this movie because I felt like um, it, it, it was the case itself. I kind of was tired of it.
Yeah, well, it
So
was kind of. I,
yeah,
I remember we talked about it being like basically an awful story about awful people, and
yeah,
and sometimes it's just you have enough of that in real life.
yeah, exactly. So, but good for her that she
Yeah.
won, and she wasn't even there. So you know, um, I don't know. How busy can you be that you can't come and get an award? It's not like you didn't know you were nominated.
I don't know.
If you
Maybe
couldn't
it's because it
clear,
was a Tuesday night.
yeah, if you
Yeah.
couldn't clear your calendar for that, unless 2 years ago you made this, put something else on your agenda for that night, then okay, I get it, whatever. But sometimes I kind of look at those things as a diss, like,
Hmm.
yeah,
Like,
yay for
yeah,
the
I'm nominated, but I'm not going to be there.
yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
All right then. So let's do best performance by an actor in a limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television. Jojo.
So we had Sebastian Stan for Pam and Tommy, Andrew Garfield for Under the Banner of Heaven, Colin Firth for The Staircase, Taron Egerton for Blackbird, Evan Peters for Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, and Evan Peters won.
Yes. So what was our prediction then?
So we let's see here. We didn't actually make one
We didn't.
because because we kind of were um uh, it was difficult for us to decide because we we hadn't seen the Blackbird. Um and we talked about Andrew Garfield because he did put in a great performance in Under the Banner of Heaven. We
Yeah.
talked a little bit about Sebastian Stan. And we did talk about how good Evan Peters was in this, but we didn't really pick one when it came down to it. So I'm
I
for
do
whatever
think that
reason.
we suspected all along that like that Evan Peters should and would have won it, and uh, although we didn't pick him, innit?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that he won, not because he is untalented or that he didn't do a fabulous job, because he did, but I was just surprised he won because of all of the controversy of over the series. Um, and I think I expected it to have won in more categories. If it was going to win, I would have expected it to have won in more categories as opposed to this particular one, if that makes sense. Like I would have expected it to sweep more. But I have no problem with him winning because he did put in a fabulous performance, and it's not his fault that the producers and the writers didn't do
Yeah.
their due diligence.
And I think also his acceptance speech was touching in a sense because he although he won and it was his moment, he acknowledged the the sourness that the story may have caused to to a lot of people and sort of like apologized for it, if you will.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
and that was a human thing to do. It was a humane thing to do, and that's
yes,
not often something you see. So, from all accounts, he seems like a good guy, and I've enjoyed everything he's pretty much everything that he's been in as an actor. So, yeah.
absolutely. Very well then. So we are going to move on to best performance by an actress in a television series drama. Hilary Swank, Alaska Daily, Imelda Staunton, The Crown, Laura Linney, Ozark, Emma Darcy, House of the Dragon, and Zendaya, Euphoria. And I, we had a nice talk about this category, and I don't know what we predicted, but I think we did suspect that Zendaya would come out on top, any.
We actually both were thinking it was going to be Laura Linney, because of it being kind of the end of Ozark, and Laura Linney just being fabulous. But yeah, we also talked about Zendaya and the fact that she might sweep it. And then we also talked about Stanton for the crown. So we kind of had a little bit of everybody mixed in there. But yeah,
I think Zendaya is becoming the queen of the Golden Globes.
I think she is. Yes.
Deservedly so, by the way. It's not
Yes.
like we're griping about it or anything,
No,
but
not at all. No,
she's fantastic.
she's fantastic. She's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Right? So go on, Jojo.
So then we had best performance by an actor in a television series drama: Adam Scott for Severance, Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, Diego Luna for Andor, Jeff Bridges for The Old Man, and Kevin Costner for Yellowstone. And the winner was Kevin Costner for Yellowstone.
That's amazing. That's, I haven't watched Yellowstone, but I I've seen Kevin Costner nominated so much and not win, so I wasn't going. But like, yeah, Kevin Costner gets nominated. That's the truth. Does he win though? I don't know. So that was surprising.
Yeah, I was surprised. I think everybody was surprised by that, actually.
Kevin didn't even show up. He was like, "Yeah,
He
it's not
didn't
like I'm
show
going
up,
to
and he
win."
got roasted for not showing up, which was fantastic. She was fantastic. She's like, "No, no, no, this is serious. We're gonna pray," and then she was just laughing. It was, oh god, it was funny.
Yeah.
Um, but I was hoping for Adam Scott, and you had picked Jeff Bridges.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
good on you, Kevin.
yeah,
Good
good on
stuff,
you,
man.
Kevin. Enjoy your shelter in place.
Like everybody made it except Kevin, because you know floods, whatever. Man, that
It's not
was
like he
funny
doesn't probably have like his own helicopter, and
though. you know.
yeah, whatever.
All right. So, best television limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television uh, nominees. Jojo.
Pam and Tommy for Hulu, The Dropout for Hulu, Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, on Netflix, Blackbird for Apple TV Plus, and The White Lotus for HBO Max. And the winner was The White Lotus.
Yes, and there you go.
And
That was the winner. And did we predict any of that?
let's see. So we actually thought it would either be The White Lotus or Dahmer.
Okay, well, at least we got this one right.
Yeah.
Um, I think we were a bit we thought about if Dahmer won, it would be a bit um with apprehension, but
Hmm.
um, the White Lotus is such a popular show with the critics because I said that because I have not seen any person I know like, yo, you have to watch White Lotus. No one has ever said that to me. No, not at all. But
No,
yet the
I haven't
critics
either.
seem to love that show.
The critics love it, and like I said, I tried to watch it, and it just was not my bag. It did not capture me. It was not my sense of humor at all. Maybe I should have given it more of a try. I gave it about 3 episodes, but there's so much other stuff out there to watch.
That is true.
That I'm
That
like,
is
if I'm
true.
giving you 3 episodes and it's not doing it for me, then it's probably not going to do it for me. But yeah, I mean, it the production on it, I have to say, was fantastic. It's a great looking show. It's very lush, and Jennifer Coolidge is always a fantastic actress in what she does. So I'm quite sure it deserved to win. It just was never anything that captured my excitement.
Yeah, I don't know what my problem is, to be honest, with the White Lotus. But also, I think in the beginning, I had that same problem with what's that show? It's also an HBO show with the old man and the Fox News type of mogul.
Oh,
Succession.
Succession, yes.
Yeah, I think I had that same problem with Succession, but I watched one episode and I'm like, oh, this show is good, and I got hooked. But if you watch 3 episodes of a show and it's not giving you the vibe, then I don't know. Maybe it's best to move on because if I have to wait until the fourth episode to say, you know what, I can live with this show,
Hmm.
then that's not really the greatest show ever, is it?
No, no.
Right. So let's go to best motion picture non-English language, formerly known as foreign language. Uh, Triple R or RRR, Decision to Leave, Close, All Quiet on the Western Front, in Argentina, 1985, and the winner was Argentina, 1980. Boy, Argentina is having a year. Just won the World Cup, and now they won the Golden Globe. Like, damn. But hey, and that movie, by the way, is an Amazon,
Oh,
because I
okay.
remember we talked about this movie as to whether
Yes,
or
we
not we
did.
would watch it and do something about it. But because of the historical perspective of it, that I'm not sure is as would be as captivating to the American audience. So we did nothing about it. But it is a fantastic movie, and the history behind it, the history of dictatorship and all of the people that were persecuted because of their opposition to the dictatorship. It's a fantastic story, especially if you've lived in countries with dictatorship. You know what that feels like. And uh, there's an asshole on my block right now making noise with a motorcycle. Um, so
I was wondering what that was.
yeah, an asshole just decided, you know, a neighborhood is the best thing to on a motorcycle. So
Yeah, that's safe.
there's that. Anyway, good for Argentina. let's go on ahead and uh, do best television series, musical or comedy. Jojo.
Okay. So the nominees were Wednesday, Only Murders in the Building, Hacks, The Bear, and Abbott Elementary. And the winner was Abbott Elementary.
What did we predict, Jojo? What?
We predicted it was kind of a toss up for the two of us. We both chose The Bear. And then our second picks, mine was Wednesday because I was just kind of thinking it might take something. And then your other pick was Abbott Elementary. So there you go.
Right. I'm not going to even. I'm not mad at Abbott Elementary one and again because this is a show that has captivated both the critics and also a lot of people that I know. Like, contrary to the White Lotus, that no one has come to me and say, "Hey, man, when you going to talk about?" Because I know when a show is getting in people's mind when they come and say, "You should do a show about," "You should do an episode about so and so," which usually I don't because again, for us, it's never about what everybody's watching, but rather what we think people should watch.
Yeah.
So, if you come and tell me you should do an episode about the most popular show on TV, I'm like, no, thanks, and fuck you. But yeah, Abbott Elementary won it, and that's cool. Who's next?
Let's see. So then we had a best television series drama.
Yes,
So Severance, Ozark, The Crown, Better Call Saul, and House of the Dragon. And the winner was House of the Dragon.
I think I predicted that.
You did.
Yes,
You did. You did.
I don't know why, but I think I predicted that because and maybe it was because of all the shows that it was nominated with.
Mm-hmm.
Ozark has been always the bride left at the altar in term ever since it started. It gets nominated a lot, but does it win? Not really.
Yeah.
Um Severance was another show that I know you liked this show, but I think it was you and the critics. I I
Yeah.
don't I haven't
Yeah.
seen anybody going crazy about
Yeah.
Severance.
And I think too that if it was going to win, that we would have seen other wins for it earlier for the other nominations, like John Turturro or Adam Scott. Um, you know,
Yeah,
so since it didn't win anything else, then it's not going to win.
yeah. And so I think that's why I made the call. And again, it's like a cousin of Game of Thrones. So
Mhm.
you know, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's all the
and
ones we talked about.
that's all the ones we talked about.
Yep.
So it used to be, I think I said that last time, whatever wins the Golden Globes, especially for films, whoever wins the Golden Globes has a great chance at the Oscars.
Hmm.
Do you think that's still the case, Jojo?
Uh, that's hard to say because it kind of used to be like an automatic thing, and I'm not so sure anymore. Um, but I will say, in the case of everything, everywhere, all at once, I hope that those those win it. I hope that that is an indication, and I hope that they win.
Yes, I think you're right. I think because both of the two awards are embattled in their own ways, right?
Yes.
Like there are still some problems with the Academy Awards.
Oh yes.
And of course, the Golden Globes are barely getting out of the slump. Um, so maybe they are kind of walking away from each other in terms of a predictive. measurement.
That's true.
And so it is possible that the Academy Awards, the what is the AMPAS people for the Academy Awards, Academy of Motion Picture Association, blah blah blah, they're now gonna, you know, sit down and say, yo, we're gonna go a completely different way so that we're not associated with these assholes, with
True.
the HFPA.
True.
So let's review what we got and let's review the votes and let's do it now. Because whatever. But I do think that there's no reason why the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, the Fablemans, because it's Spielberg,
Mm-hmm.
the Bunches of Inisherin,
Mm-hmm.
all of those, I do think they stand a good chance in the Oscars, regardless of what happened at the Golden Globes.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Very well then. So we made predictions. We warned you that not all of our predictions come true because most of our predictions are based on our own passion and our own feelings for the shows that we liked and the actors that we liked. So part of our predictions were we wanted to see Jeremy Allen White win. He won,
Mm-hmm.
and that, that was all right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's what we're gonna just leave it there, Judge. We're just gonna go ahead and leave it there,
Makes sense.
right? So we want to invite you to find us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and the Facebook. We even have a Pinterest page. You can go directly to kickingandstreamingpodcast.com to see our page, listen to an entire archive of podcast episodes that we've done. I'm sure you will find some that you want to listen to because we've talked about some great show since we started.
We really
Um,
have.
we've done like seriously. I go back and listen to shit that we've done. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we're still good, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. And you can follow Jocelyn on Instagram, which is the only place on social media you will find her. And she is
KNS co-host, kicking and streaming co-host.
KNS co-host. You will find me as Mr. Putzetta. That's MRPUZZETTA. So for today, we are going to call it, and we thank you for watching if you saw us on YouTube. And also, we thank you for listening because that's the bulk of it, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, that's what we do. We do the podcasts.
We do the podcast. So thank you, everyone, and have a good one.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Take care now.
Thank you for listening to Kicking and Streaming Podcast. If you found value in our content, please subscribe and share. We would also be delighted to hear what you think of this podcast. So please rate us by writing a quick review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on all major social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Join the conversation happening today on our Facebook group.